Hello! Today's stories come from r/IDontWorkHereLady. We've got 3 stories today. First up, on this day I learned, don't wear red to Target stores. This happened this near past Monday of posting this. 'Tis the sneezin', and my allergies are acting up. They were so bad on Monday that my eyes were irritated as all get out, and my right eye felt like someone threw sand into it. I was just miserable. I work next to a Target, so with my boss's blessing, I head over next door on my break to find something for my eyes, especially since I appeared high enough to brofist Jupiter. That and working in customer service is not a good look, even if I don't do the puff puff. I toddle next door, grab some eye drops and new eyeliner since I didn't want to take the chance that it could be an infection, and sidle into a short line at the registers. I am part of day-to-day operations in my store, so I still had on my earpiece and radio combo talking to my coworkers and answering questions. I'll be about 5 more minutes on my break. From behind me, in an escalating tone, "Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me." This impatient lady then pushed her cart into my back, attempting to push me out of the way. I need to get through. The push wasn't enough to knock me off my feet, but still enough to make me need to steady myself. I was confused, really confused. I didn't move, partially turned to look at her. For what? The woman shot me a look of horror that anyone would talk to her like I did. She couldn't have been much older than myself, and I am in my early 40s. I'm next, and you're in my way. I could not digest the vitriol from this woman in this very short time. I'm making a purchase, ma'am. I hold out my hand with the eye drops and eyeliner. You work here. You can check out at any time. She pushed her cart more into me. Now, I have the luxury of wearing a more casual uniform in the form of a general unisex tee that's colored red. On this day, it matched the allergy-irritated whites of my eyes. But really, what is this logic I am being confronted with? I feel like garbage. I still had 6.5 hours left of work, and now I have this audacity to deal with? Over it. I fully turned to face her, bumping and pushing back into the front of the cart with an equivalent amount of force she was using against me, and using that as the only space between her and I. I pointed at the logo embroidered on the chest. I gave my most soft, princessy stern voice and said very slowly, I don't work here. I never broke eye contact with the woman nor moved off of the offending cart, while I beat through my radio talking to a coworker in my regular tone of voice. Down Fine Arts on the left-hand side, one of the middle sections under the last pencil display. Maybe I just looked mad crazed because of my eyes being so red, and at this point, fairly angry. She lowered her gaze, huffed and pulled her cart back off of me. My question, how often does this behavior actually work with any retail employees with this person? If someone is next in line, then obviously they are next in line, employee or not. This is a life lesson about being a good human being we all should have learned in kindergarten. I get to the register, and the Target cashier asks me for my employee card. Oh, I work next door. The cashier, who may or may not have witnessed what happened behind her. Oh, that's unfortunate, coming in here with a red shirt. I tilt my head toward the lady and raise my brows. Yep, I've already been mistaken. Lesson learned. The cashier let out an almost guttural sputter laugh. The lady behind me, who started putting her cart full of items on the belt, was clearly grumpy by our exchange with furrowed brows and pursed lips. I ran my debit card, put my purchase in my pocket, wished the cashier a fantastic day, and headed back next door. Ha! I almost picked this one for my thumbnail, the fuming face with bloodshot eyes of a retail worker on the edge. Scary. Watch out, Karen. For my American friends, a red shirt next to Target? Anyone have any ideas? Because I couldn't figure it out. And now for our second story. Illiterate customer at Barnes Noble yells at me because she doesn't know the difference between sci-fi and fantasy. This happened a few years ago when I was trying to get back into reading. High school and college kind of destroyed my love for the hobby by forcing me to read the classics. Some of them were good, a lot of them are outdated and boring, and as a person with ADHD, forcing me to read a 500-page book that I hated was agonizing. But I've been an avid player of Dungeons & Dragons for a while, so I decided to try and rekindle the hobby by buying some fantasy books. I did some research before I went out to the store and had a short list of what I wanted to buy. Off to Barnes & Noble I went. Barnes & Noble, as I've learned, tends to lump sci-fi and fantasy together in the same section, but given I knew exactly what I was looking for, it didn't bother me much. I entered the aisle, and already there was a frustrated-looking Karen with two books in her hands, looking between them. Not reading them, just staring perplexed at the covers. From a quick glance, she seemed to be about in her 70s with short gray hair, though the scowling pout on her face made her look like a petulant child. I must have seemed like I knew what I was doing. After all, I had come in already knowing what I wanted. It took about 30 seconds for me to quickly pick out the 3 books I wanted to try, but obviously that was not quick enough to avoid being flagged down. "Excuse me, young man," the Karen called after me, right before I was about to step out of the aisle, so close to avoiding this interaction. I work in customer service, though, so reflexively I turned on the smile. "Yes, ma'am?" "Can't a woman get some help over here?" There's a slight pause, and I'm about to tell her that I'll send an employee right over, but she continues talking. "I need some help picking out a gift for my grandson." I deflate a little bit, as I don't much like interacting with strangers, but this woman hasn't done anything rude yet. So I decide to try and be nice. "Well, what kind of book is he looking for?" "My grandson likes fantasy," she says. I took a look at the books in her hands, both of which are very clearly not fantasy, and they both have spaceships on the front. For now, I keep the condescending tone out of my voice. "I'm sorry, but both of those are sci-fi books." "Well, how was I possibly supposed to know that?" "Well, anything with a spaceship or any kind of technology on the cover is a dead giveaway for starters." "My grandson says that sci-fi is stupid. I won't risk giving him some garbage story. You need to give me a fantasy book for my grandson." "Look, ma'am, I don't work here. If you want a recommendation, I can—" "Oh, that's BS. You've been helping me already, and now you're just trying to be lazy." I begin losing my patience. I deal with these types of people at my place of work, and I refuse to be nice to them outside of work. "Well, here's an idea for you. How about you read the back of the book? You know, the little section that says what the book is about, instead of just staring at the covers." "How dare you talk back to me? It's not my job to know what the books are about, it's yours." "Oh yeah, must be such a strain to read 5 sentences. You definitely need to have people do that for you. Or heck, why not just Google popular fantasy books? You have a phone, don't you?" At this point, the Karen is red in the face. "I'm not going to spend my time on reading this nothing genre. I only waste my time on books of substance. I just want a gift for my grandson." Like I said, Google fantasy books and pick a random title if you're so averse to reading. What does averse mean? Use words that people can understand. I look at her with a raised eyebrow for a moment or two and then just turn around. "Bye, Karen." She grabs my arm, and at this point, I am very careful. I'm a 6'5" man, and this is a tiny old woman. If I react to her grabbing me, even reflexively, it could be very bad. "You're not going anywhere. Where is your manager?" I begin to say, but stop as I have an idea. With as tall as I am, I can easily see over the aisles and find the corner of the store that is furthest away from the cash registers. Hiding my smirk, I say, "Oh, he's over in the biography section. It's over there." I point with my free arm to the back corner of the store. Karen tugs on my arm and says, "You're coming with me." But given my height and weight, I just stay firmly planted and watch the small woman try to drag me away. After about a minute, she huffs, face nearly purple with rage now, as she says, "You wait here," and storms off to the back of the store. I do no such thing. Rather, I go and buy my books at the cash register. Just as the cashier is handing my bag and receipt, I hear, "There he is." I frown at that and turn to see that she has actually found the manager, who was looking confused. "That's the employee who shoved me." Having already received my books and knowing that no one there could do anything to actually stop me, I walked out of the store as the Karen tried to convince the manager that I was just so horrible to her. One of the employees tried to follow me out of the store and said I had to stay to sort this out, to which I replied, "No, I don't." I got in my car and left, not ever knowing how that turned out. I was never contacted by police, nor was I banned from the store, so clearly her claim didn't stick. I still visit this store regularly today, and I have never seen this woman again. Oh boy, this man was done with that Karen. I can't blame him. That conversation can be summed up in one word: exhausting. I found a couple of fun comments, though. Why do Karens not know what a security camera is? That was my first thought. Shove her? The cameras will show she lied. I rate this story 6.5 out of 10. Better luck next time, OP. OP. Next time, nah man, I'll just take the D- as a passing grade and pray I don't have to deal with Karens in the wild ever again. Thanks. And now for our final story. Ma'am, back the frack off. Hello everyone. It's been a while since I posted. Letting everyone know I've recently gotten married. We both work third shift, working from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., Monday through Friday, and off on Saturday and Sunday. I was so grateful we both have the same shift. I work as a caregiver again, and my husband works for a company called Glovis. It's along with Hyundai. Usually, I will drive us to my client's home, and he'll take the car to his job. Then he'll come pick me up, and I'll drive us home. This particular Saturday morning, hubby and I needed to go to Wally World, and we decided to go before we head home, and I'm sure a lot of people have been like that. Rather go on to the store before going home, because once your head hit that pillow, you dare somebody to call your name. So we needed to get a few groceries and need some things for our living room. Now, I will say hubby's uniform is very similar to the uniform of Wally World. Navy blue shirt, khaki or black pants, neon yellow vest. Only difference, his navy blue shirt actually has the word Glovis on the front of it, and I'm not sure about them wearing steel-toed boots. So, we've been inside Wally World for a good 10 minutes, being funny with each other and going through our list. I forget we passed an aisle that had an item on the list, and I tell hubby to go on with the cart and I'll be right back. Now, something about me, I usually go down the aisle 2 or 3 times if I can't find that specific item. So I went down that aisle about 3 times, slowly, to make sure I didn't skip over it. Suddenly, I hear a long, husky screech. I didn't think of it and kept looking for the item until I feel my phone vibrate. A text from my husband saying to get over there quickly. Okay, now I'm worried. I forget the item and go looking for my husband. I find him several aisles down, with a woman all in his face. One thing I will say about my husband, when it comes to women in his face, he lets me handle them. And I let him handle men in my face. So I'm walking over to him and hear her saying, "Just help me already. It's your job after all. Don't make me call for a manager and get you fired." He's constantly trying to tell her he doesn't work there, trying to unzip his vest to show the word Glovis. She's not having it. She gets louder. My hubby has PTSD and doesn't do too well with people yelling at him. A whole other story. So I stepped in. "Excuse me, ma'am. Can I help you? What's the problem here?" She rants on and on about how he, a Walmart employee, won't help her, and she needs help, but he ignored her, and it's very unprofessional. Then she took one look at me in my uniform, scrubs, and said, "What am I telling you for? You don't work here. Find me a manager." I look at her and say, "What Walmart employee are you implying to? Because I don't see one here." Her attitude got so big. I thought it was going to blow that whole building. Saying none of us will help her, she asked him for help in the store and asked me to get her a manager. First off, you old nanny goat, you didn't ask me to do anything. You told me to get you a manager like I was your child. No, ma'am, that's not how this works. While I was trying to tell her that my husband doesn't work here, she had the nerve to tell me these exact words. "If you was to stop living off us taxpayers and taking welfare, you would be able to do what you're told when asked. And don't take up for him just because he's handsome. He's not going to be your next baby daddy." Oh, hell nah, see here, witch. I tried to be polite with your butt, but you just crossed the fracking line. How are you going to go from talking about me being on welfare to calling my husband handsome and saying he won't be my next baby daddy? Nope. It's time for me to lay into her. Listen here, you long neck, ashy ankle neck bone eating, pig feet slurping, head looking like Stewie Griffin looking witch. First of all, this handsome man is my husband. Notice the rings on our hands? Second of all, we both was trying to tell you no further than second grade education, but he doesn't work for Walmart. His shirt clearly says Glovis. Third, where in the entire frack do you get off assuming I'm on welfare and you don't know crap about me? Which, get your block knocked off in the store if you want to. You can run into this brick wall if you want to end yourself, in my Hattie Mae voice. Now she's standing there crying, asked me did I give a hoot, and I surely did not. So finally, an employee came up and asked what happened. You know how these Karens are. They tell what they want instead of the whole story. She told him that she asked my husband for help and I threatened her not to talk to him. I didn't even have to say a word. Multiple witnesses came up and defended me and my hubby. And just like that, the waterworks stopped because she noticed she didn't have the audience she was looking for. I told the man that I'm sorry for going off the way I did, but what she's not about to do is disrespect my husband or me, especially since she doesn't know either of us. We just want to finish our shopping and go home. We're tired and just got off work. He let us go and he keeps her there. You start hearing more yelling, but it's fading as we walk away. I look at my husband and he's just smiling. Talking about the way I handled her turned him on. Now I'm standing there blushing hard and laughing. Mind you, he didn't say a word while I was handling her. He did hold me back from wanting to knock her smooth out. Gotta love that man. Wow, this is the woman I want in my corner in a confrontation. She went right for the jugular and ended that Karen. And she's hilarious and even took on some commenters. Check these out. In response to OP's insults, one commenter said, I laughed so hard I farted and it woke my wife up. Worth it. In response to OP's reference to her husband wearing steel-toed boats, one commenter said, that must be really awkward to walk around with. OP's response, I honestly wouldn't know. Hubby said they do feel comfortable on his feet, though. Only thing that cracks him up is when he walks through the metal detector and it goes off because of his shoes. Funny moment. It went off when he went through. My cousin that works there screamed out, ooh, he's stealing. Hubby said he just froze. I laughed so hard. Darling, you wrote boats, B-O-A-T-S, instead of boots. That's the joke they're making. And then everyone in Walmart clapped. This sounds fake as frack. OP. And yet, you had time enough to comment, so you had to like the fake story somewhere. Sweetie, let me tell you something. I live in a country where certain people think they can rule over you. And if you don't understand what I mean, that says a lot about you. So it's common for people like myself to cuss people out over something like this. So if you didn't like it, you could have left the fake story and went on about your business. But you made it your business to comment, which made it very obvious that you liked it somewhere. So for that, thank you. On with your day. If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.